like to welcome Shri Vishwajeet Chimankar, Deputy DGFT, RA Mumbai. Sir has taken out time, we were expecting him to come, but he has finally come. We really appreciate. Sir, I would like you to give the introduction about yourself and then proceed. Some of the topics we have covered, but from the DGFT perspective, our members are very eager to hear from you. Welcome, sir.
So I don't have any presentation as of now. I don't think it's needed also because we had many of the presentations earlier. So I am Vishwajeet Chimankar, Deputy Director General of Foreign Trade, currently posted in RA Mumbai. So I come from an organization called DGFT that stands for Directorate General of Foreign Trade. So I presume most of you might have heard of it and might be knowing it. It comes under the Ministry of Commerce. We currently have 24 offices in different cities across India. And so when we talk about trade, the most important thing in today's era is about having facilitation and promotion of trade. So this is what DGFT is into, and DGFT stands for promotion and facilitation of trade. So when I consider pharmaceutical sector and allied products and allied sector, what comes into my mind that India, as we know, is also known as the pharmacy of the world. We in India are also among the top of the world, top 10 largest exporter and importer also. So I'll just go step by step how DGFT comes into play. So when I talk about among the largest importer also, one of the largest importer, what comes to our mind is, yes, we need a lot of active pharmaceutical ingredients, which you call API, for manufacturing. Now the thing is that when we talk about trade, it's for any country, yes, export is indeed needed. But it's not just about exports. We will also need to have imports. So just a small example, I think just a year back, as to what I remember, China had around export of around $2,500 billion. At the same time, the imports were around $2,100 billion. So imports were also high. So why is this so? Because if you see, no country is perfect in all the spheres. We need to be competitive, yes. But then at some point of time, we also realize that in some of the products, some other country is more competitive. We just get the inputs from there. We do value addition and then we export. So for getting inputs from there and doing value addition, you need to have facilitation in play. So DGFT has a scheme called Advance Authorization Scheme. So what do we do under the Advance Authorization Scheme? So we basically facilitate the exporter to bring the input as allowed under SION, that is Standard Input Output Norms, into India, do the value addition, and then export it. So what happens that when you are importing that good under the Advance Authorization Scheme, you are being exempted from certain custom duties, and then you can do the value addition and export. So in a big way, this will help an exporter to get some inputs across the globe, wherein he feels that the same product is not available or is available in a better price or better way outside India, and then he can easily get it, process it and export. So in that process, what we are doing is, we would say, value addition, and that is what needed. Trade is not just about export. We also need to have proper system in place so that the facilitation can happen in a better way. So for that, we have Advance Authorization Scheme. Then another thing, any exporter is there, okay, he wants to increase his capacity. Yes, that's a very good thing. But then he also believes that I need certain capital good, a big machinery, might be even a sealing machine or packaging machine, or it might be a machine wherein the whole assembly line needs to be there. And then he realizes, okay, I don't think I have the relevant supply in our country, I need to import it. Now the custom duty is quite high, 30% or 25%. What should I do? So DGFT came with another scheme. It's quite old. It's called EPCG, Export Promotion Capital Goods Scheme. So what happens under it? You believe that there is certain capital good that is needed for you. You simply import it from outside India. You are exempted from paying the custom duty. Yes, you also have an export obligation with it. And the period which is given is also quite enough, I believe. It's about around 6 years to have that export obligation being fulfilled. But this in a way helps you to increase your capacity. Another thing, this helps you to become competitive. Another thing is that this helps you to increase your production in a very small time. And this will also help you to increase your exports, but at the same time you may use it later for your domestic production also, or you may at the same time use it for domestic production, sell the products domestically also, at the same time you may export the products. So wherein means these are the ways where DGFT has brought some schemes and always tried to have facilitation for the trade, because it's not just about the benefits being given, but it is also saying that what benefits are given are helping, or in a way are kind of building a good capacity for the Indian exporters. Then we also have remission schemes. So you might have been heard of RODTEP, wherein one issue that comes up is in the international arena, when we talk about trade, the common thing is that yes, the products should be exported, but not the taxes and duties. So again, how you do that? So we in a way think of reimbursing the taxes and duties being accrued by you during the production process. For instance, I am manufacturing a bottle that needs electricity. Now you are paying a duty on electricity. So ideally that should not be exported, that duty. So under the RODTEP, which is being notified by DGFT and then implemented by the customs, that is being paid back to you. So in this way DGFT plays a big role. It's nothing but all the duties and the taxes which are accrued by you being given back, nothing else, but in a way helping you become more competitive and helping you to follow the, what I would say, the trade dharma of not exporting the duties and taxes in foreign, but only exporting your products at the fair value, making you more competitive. So this is some way. Then we also need to take into consideration the new arenas or the new dimensions opening up in the trade. So I was listening to someone who was saying the future is of trade is having no trade at all by the containers. You will be having small packages. So what does it points to? It points to e-commerce being coming into play. So it was recognized that during the EBRC generation, the banks were charging some fees, which was quite a high amount for small export parcels. For example, if I am exporting a product of around 3,000 rupees and a bank is charging me 500 to 1,000 rupees for BRC generation, so that's quite a high amount. So we came up, okay, so we need a proper system in place. So here the revamped BRC system came in. Many of you might be knowing, wherein the, yeah, thank you so much. Sorry, I am having a sore throat, but then looking at you, it's just, it is making me speak more, though I think I am not boring you. So this is how DGFT is entering into new dimensions and seeing how we can help the trade community and increase our exports. So again, when we recognize this, we brought this new revamped BRC system, which I think is also continuously evolving. So at start, we were not having this bulk upload option, which was introduced later on. And now I have got some inputs regarding that also. I'll definitely take into consideration. And when I was in the headquarters, DGFT headquarters, I worked on this. So I'll definitely let the team know the inputs given by you. So these are some of the way. Then what comes up next is that yes, e-commerce is a big dimension that is opening up, but how the people will be know. So we are also engaging ourselves in outreach events. We had this outreach event in BKC, I believe 2 or 3 months back. Siddhant, in what month it was? Okay, June or July, whatever. Then again, when it comes to pharmaceutical as such, or it comes under the wider arena of chemicals. So we also have in place a SCOMET. I think SCOMET, many might be aware, it stands for Special Chemicals, Organism, Material, Equipment, Technology. So certain items come under this SCOMET and you need to take licenses for the same for export or import. So we also have a wholly digital system in place wherein we are continuously dedicated to reduce the timeline to get that authorization. So I believe some days back it was around 75 or 60 days. Now we have brought it to around 30 days, and we are dedicated to bring it down now again to 15 days. So again we had SCOMET outreach event just last month. So in this way DGFT is playing various critical roles, and yes, I believe I have seen many big huge companies taking benefit of these schemes, especially the advanced authorization schemes, wherein I believe that huge number of inputs are being imported for manufacturing of the things and exporting them. So in a way, these new dimensions are something which we can focus on, especially in e-commerce. So when we talk about health and wellness sector also, I believe there is huge potential for e-commerce, and Ayurvedic products, as we know, have a very huge demand outside India, which I believe using e-commerce, many of the small MSMEs can take benefit of and actualize the huge potential present in them. And again, when it comes to pharmaceutical products, what I have been reading is the quality issues that we have in place. I think different sector regulations, regulatory bodies are working on it. I also got one input that regarding the HS code, imports and exports wherein are restricted, or you have some internal other regulatory bodies making internal compliances. So again, I would request you to give me the inputs. I'll definitely forward it to the DGFT headquarters, when our team will examine the same, and we can have better communication with the other regulatory bodies when in these specific issues are being solved. So I think I have told a little bit of many of the works being done by DGFT, and I won't nag out more things now. If any question you have in particular, you're free to ask them. Thank you. Yeah.
Is there any possibility to reduce the time of getting EPCG license?
Under the FTP Act, the FTP, we have timeline around 3 days for issuance. What happens many of time specific cases. So I don't know. So I'll let you know. Under EPCG, what happens? We just need 2 documents mainly. It's Chartered Engineer Certificate and Chartered Accountant Certificate. So under the CAC, I'll tell you the common problems being seen by me also. When you submit the Chartered Engineer Certificate, what it is saying that the Chartered Engineer is simply writing the name of the HS code and the export product name, and simply writing down the import product and its characteristics. What we need is a proper linkage, that okay, you are bringing this capital good, fair enough, but how it is linked with the export product. One thing. Another thing, the problem is, see, I am bringing one capital good, okay, but then export products, I am entering 10 export products. But if you see, examine, that capital good is not linked to all the 10 export products. Otherwise, many times what the applicants are doing, they are entering 2 capital goods and they are calling for 10 export products. Now, one capital good pertains to 5 products and another capital good pertain to 5 products. So, in such cases, we request that separate application be made. Such issues come up. Another thing, many times the Chartered Accountant Certificate is needed for the average export obligation performance for the earlier years. So I am just telling the common problems being seen. First of all, the values being entered by them in the application and the CAC values are differing. 2 files I saw today only. I have asked them to please update it properly. Because see, ultimately the problem may come to you only. You will also have to amend it in future. Then we will be asking reason why you are doing. Then you will again have to go to CA. One such problem is there. Another problem is that in the Chartered Accountant Certificate, we have entered a new column that if you have specific export obligation, for any EPCG license done earlier. So you can just subtract it from the average export obligation. So many a times that is not being filled properly, or if that is being filled, you also need to give little bit about the statement, because what has happened is that you have taken two earlier licenses in the year 23. So you had export obligation of around 3 crores. Okay. So you are simply writing export obligation of 3 crores. It is not actually what it is actually, that how much specific export obligation you have already done. हाँ, सो यू कैन नॉट सिंपली मेंशन 3 करोड़ कि मेरा तो उसमें इतना 3 करोड़ एक्सपोर्ट ऑब्लिगेशन था, मैंने उतना लिख दिया. उतना आपका हुआ ही नहीं है. आपका कितना एक्सपोर्ट ऑब्लिगेशन मीट हुआ है उतना ही लिखना है. तो हम उसके लिए स्टेटमेंट मंगाते. तो ये प्रॉब्लम्स देखे गए थे, ऐसे बहुत प्रॉब्लम्स हैं. सो व्हाट हैपेंस मेनी टाइम्स, ये अंडरस्टैंडिंग करने में वक्त चला जाता है. वन थिंग, एक और प्रॉब्लम हुआ कि उन्होंने मीन्स इन द CAC दे हैड गिवन द डिडक्टेड वैल्यूज़. फेयर इनफ, डिडक्ट करके तो उनका वैल्यू कम होगा. एप्लीकेशन में वो विदाउट डिडक्शन वाला वैल्यू डाल रहे हैं. तो 3 टाइम हमने DL दे दिया, फिर भी वही वो बोल रहे हैं. तो उनका VC पे भी आ गए. वो बोले आप जैसा है वैसे दो, हमारा प्रोडक्ट आ रहा है. मैं बोला मुझे कुछ प्रॉब्लम नहीं, आप तो चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट सर्टिफिकेट में कम वैल्यू दिखा रहे हैं, यहाँ आप ज़्यादा दिखा रहे हो. अब आपको कम नहीं करते आ रहा है, वो तो आपके हाथ में है. वो बोल रहे जैसे भी हमको दे दो. मैं बोला आपको ही प्रॉब्लम है, कल जाके आप ही अमेंडमेंट करने आएंगे कि हमने गलती से वो वैल्यू ज़्यादा दी. बट दे वर इंसिस्टिंग कि नहीं ऐसा. मैं बोला ये थोड़ा इशू है. तो इसी बात में क्या 3 DL चले गए. तो आज DL गया, वो फिर से वर्कआउट करेंगे, वो 2-3 दिन लेंगे. ऐसे 2-3 हफ्ते ऐसे ही निकल जाते. अदर देन डैट वेर इन द एप्लीकेशंस आर क्लियर, आई बिलीव 3 to 4 days में आराम से हो जाता है. 4 days ऑल्सो, क्योंकि कभी कभी बीच में एक छुट्टी आ गई या फिर ऐसा है. सो वी हैव ऑल द केसेस विद अस वेर इन इवन 2-3 days में भी हो गए. सो यही है कि थोड़ा जो ये चीज़ें है इस पर थोड़ा फोकस कर सकते हैं. अगेन फॉर फैसिलिटेशन वी हैव अ VC फैसिलिटी एवरी डे. जन सुनवाई फैसिलिटी बोलते, ऑनरेबल कॉमर्स मिनिस्टर ने लॉन्च किया था. सो एवरी डे 10:30 to 11:30 DGFT ऑफिसेस जितने भी है, यू कैन कनेक्ट ऑनलाइन. यू कैन टेल देम द प्रॉब्लम्स बीइंग फेस्ड बाय यू. यू नीड नॉट कम टू द ऑफिस. So that VC facility is there. Another VC facility is also available wherein you want to speak to any specific officer. That also you can access for solving such issues. Yeah. Okay. Any more questions? Okay, you can. Yes.
My name is Kaushal Thakkar and I have designed the VCBA. Since this is a forum where most of the pharmaceutical and allied products companies are there, so nowadays comment is a very hot topic in the department. Whenever a product being exported, comment declaration is always sought by the customs. Now, unlike other products where, say for example, metal, you know if this is tungsten carbide, you know some other metal, it is very specific. When chemicals are being exported, when allied products like intermediates are being exported, if there is a composition of more than one product to make that final product. In that composition, one of the product is falling under SCOMET. Obviously, when the product is used, the dilution is also there. In such cases, department insists that you take a NOC from the department.
From DGFT. Customs is asking you to get NOC from DGFT. Okay.
When as the broker community, we check the appendix 3, we come to know that our product is not listed here.
In the SCOMET list.
Because we are exporting the final product. We will check vis-a-vis the category mentioned in the appendix 3 is there or not. We will not be in the position to know what is the composition in that particular. कोई exporter बता नहीं पाएगा कि कौन सा ingredient उसके अंदर है.
Okay.
Because their primary focus will be exporting the
Final product.
not the ingredient.
Yes.
In such cases, how do we get NOCs from DGA?
As such, the NOC का ऐसा सिस्टम तो नहीं है. What max is that authorization जो आप SCOMET का लेना होता है वो ले लीजिए आप. बट देन मुझे लगता है आपका इश्यू ऐसा आ रहा है कि आप बोल रहे हैं कि
कैटेगरी कौन सी लूंगा?
ओके, तो क्या आपका लिस्ट में उस लिस्ट में है फाइनल प्रोडक्ट वेर इन यू नीड. ओके.
Ingredient which is used in the final product is there. In such cases, how do we approve?
Okay, as such, in my knowledge, see, SCOMET authorization is being administered by headquarter DGFT HQ. Yeah. Yes, yes.
Basically, this was asked during the last SCOMET of each and that was addressed. So customs officers, they said that we also need to train ourselves and we need training. Because one of our members is exporting Botox, that is a botulinum toxin. Now, it is clearly mentioned under the SCOMET list if it is being exported as a formulation, as a medicine finished product, then it doesn't come under SCOMET. But still, custom officer raised that and then that goes there. So, in this case, you have to write a mail to SCOMET and they reply immediately. And there is no separate authorization required. But then you need a clarification from SCOMET, and I think Mr. Nitish Suri was there.
Nitish Suri,
Yeah,
yes,
so
Nitish Suri, sir.
And he is very, dynamic person, he replies immediately. So, that queries you need to put it to
My purpose for asking this question was this:
Yeah, I got it.
that awareness among the trade reservists when they approach the department is not there. Not everybody has common problems, but which door to knock and how to get a reply, that is the challenge with the trade.
so you reach the next person.
See, again I am saying this comment work is being seen in DGFT HQ. You can always mail, but as such NOC का कुछ अलग से portal वगैरह बना नहीं है. So ideally if we see this question means which we believe that the list is being there, it's specifically mentioned, but जैसे इन्होंने बोला customs में कई बार issue आता है. So I think one more thing last time discuss किया था कि they were exporting क्या आर्म्स का डमीज काइंड ऑफ या फिर टॉयज टाइप था बट तो उसमें कुछ आर्म ऐसा लिख के आ रहा था. सो कस्टम्स गाइज वर सेइंग कि ये तो फायर आर्म वगैरह ऐसा कुछ है, समथिंग लाइक दैट. सो अगेन वो बहुत बढ़ गया था मैटर. ही वेंट टू DIC, देन DIC महाराष्ट्र वेंट टू कस्टम्स, फिर हमें आया था, फिर उन्होंने मेल तो कर दिया था. तो मोस्टली मेल करते एज सच NOC का कुछ है नहीं, बट ठीक है आप एक रिप्रेजेंटेशन आई बिलीव दे सकते कि ऐसे चीज़ें हमेशा. सो इज इट बीइंग आस्क्ड रेगुलरली? Okay, so something can be worked out.
Because life consignment gets held up.
It gets stuck. Then damages.
Damages are there after COVID. The deadlines for any this thing is very critical. And also being
Cut to cut होता है. Yes.
implied by the carriers. So any mechanism wherein if there is any clarification is required, then the exporter can directly write to DGFT, get a clarification, and then the goods being sent for export. That will save a lot of time and money on the exporters front.
In fact, it is one of the demand from FAB. All process of custom objections which the custom officer raised. We don't have anyone from customs, but we have already, and we discussed that day with Mr. Nitish Suri also, that please make an compulsion. Any custom officer is raising objection, they just make on paper notes.
Okay.
They have to reply to the mail. We have every mail ID Digital India because once there is mail with CC to DGFT, with CC to ADC. Here ADC sir is also here, and they also come across many times custom officers play as a super ADC kind of thing, because of certain they don't have knowledge or something, maybe, whatever the reason. But if that is being communicated through mail, there is a transparency, much transparency, and the things get resolved as soon as possible. I mean, I have a live example here. Yesterday only, one food product is being treated as a drug, and that being held up. So we have demanded this with the Ministry of Commerce also. Let the DGFT maybe an ombudsman role, where one common person, if any, because we deal with 5 departments. If DGFT is the one ombudsman, anything we can solve, yes, it will increase the load of DGFT, but then there will be much more transparency.
I believe different.
This is a policy matter.
Yeah.
We are discussing.
Policy matter, and different regulatory bodies have their own role. So even customs, they have their own set of experiences and own set of cases. That's
Agreed.
why I believe they are being more vigilant and means more careful. But then, okay, yes, I believe that you can always mail. In DGFT, SCOMET is being seen by Nitish Suri sir. He's joined DGFT. And additional DGFT is Rakesh Kumar sir. So you can always mail them for give. And I believe DDG is Roy. If you can go on the website of DGFT, you can clearly see this thing. So you can always contact them. Email ID is there. So worst case scenario, I believe that you can mail them. And as to what I know, that this comment cell in headquarters is very active. Yes. So they do normally reply. So even the arm wala thing which I told you, they went to HQ to meet Nitish Surisa, and within 5 minutes he had mailed and did the things right. But okay, yes, I believe that's a nice point, that many don't know whose door to knock. So they were not knowing, they went to DIC से customs से DGFT. Rather than that, अगर direct DGFT mail कर तो शायद उनका problem जल्दी solve हो जाता. But yes, you can always mail to DGFT.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Sir, I would request Shri Mihir Bhai to felicitate Shri Vishwajeet for spending a valuable time and insight. I think this gives opportunity for us as FCME, to take the insights that, for our members, we will, kind of prepare a FAQ sheet. Which door to knock is one question, which is very confusing for some members and staff people facing. So I would really appreciate, our DGC cell, DGFT cell, represented by senior people who have guided us today. And then, thank you once again, sir, for all these insights and sharing openly. Definitely, sir. We'll, as an association, form a thing.
And always share with us. And any specific input which is for the regional office, we'll always implement them. And in case any input which needs to be forwarded to headquarters, we'll work actively. Our additional DGFT sir, Akhil Mishra sir, is very active in this. So you're always welcome to his office. So he always takes a keen interest in solving any issue, and even for policy related matters, he has been kind of active in bringing this into the notice of headquarters and sending letters them for actively getting the clarification. So I would request you that you can always prepare the list.
So we'll take our effort now that they've spent their valuable time half a day with us. We will, as an association, make the full system for this particular thing. Thank you so much, sir.